Texas passes a nullification resolution for all laws passed by the federal government. We nullify the federal government. Now, many people might say, well, how does that work? They pass health care. Health care doesn't take place in this state until our governor says it does. Plain and simple, the states have rights. More states will join us. If this actually occurs, then they're going to have to pass their laws through 51 governing bodies. Think about that. And actually more than that, but I'm not going to get into details. Yeah, there's a lot. So, we're protected before it ever begins. I have senators and representatives that will put this on the floor in a heartbeat. Actually, my resolution's already been written. What we have to do as a group of people and as citizens of Texas is we have to call our senators and our representatives, the ones that are actually Texas government. You can go onto notintexas.org. You can look up the vetting the conservatives in Texas, and you can find your representative, their phone numbers, their addresses, and we need to hound them. I'm hounding the governor. I'm hounding every representative that will talk to me, which is actually a lot. And we're telling them that we have to. We have to get a special session. Because in a special session, we get our votes. Because you know why? Because these people need their jobs. It's going to be a straight party line vote right now. We have 4 more Republicans than we have Democrats. In a special session, this gets passed. In 2011, number 1 is too late. And number 2, it's possible to have more of a majority, but it's not a hot topic. You get this in a special session, and how many other states will join us? How many other states want this? Now, what are we going to do if we do it? You see, doing it isn't that simple. We have to have a vision. What I say we do is we begin to eliminate every social program that has enslaved a whole generation of Americans, one by one. Now, I have an idea for that. I told you I have a very, very elaborate plan. The idea goes like this. We're going to use Social Security. We end Social Security. You know how we do it? Is we say if you're under 30, you don't get it. Okay? You don't pay the taxes, and you don't get it. Now, many of y'all might say, no, wait a second. We can tighten Social Security. Government is the problem. And it can never be a solution. Ever. We can't do that. We can't go there. You see, if we tell the people that are 30 and below, you're not getting it, you know what they do? They become responsible. Let's say that word real quiet so no one hears us. They become responsible for themselves and not a slave of their government. That's what they do. You create an entire generation of Americans that might have a chance to understand what Thomas Jefferson was trying to do when he founded this country with everybody else. Just maybe we have a better shot. We tell you if you're 55 or above, you're stuck. You're on the system. You've been on it your whole life, so just stay with it. If you're in the middle, you get a one-time opt-out. Now, where's the money going to go? I got to ask you, where is the money? I mean, who cares if you're under 30 if you're paying into the system? It ain't there. We do what everybody else does. If you get in debt, what do? You stop making future obligations. You're never going to pay off debt if you keep making more obligations. We have more debt than any country in the history of the world has ever had. Just let that soak in. From ancient Sumeria, 4,000 years ago to today, no country has ever had the debt that the United States of America has right now. Ever. That's crazy. It's crazy talk, right? I mean, how? How do we get here? We're just going to sell ourselves to China? We can get out of it just like anybody can when you put too many bills on the table. We can all recover, and we can recover if we band together, if we start stopping these systems. What's the difference between Social Security and Bernie Madoff? One of them is that the federal government can put you in jail if you go do it, but they can print money if they do it, so they'll never run out. Seriously. It's crazy. The whole concept of Social Security is crazy. It's all just a scheme so the government can make more money. That's all they want is your money. You have to excuse me. I'm about to start coughing. So, then we take this technique and this logic and this modification, and we take it to every single social program. We end them. We phase them out. We let them die with the generation that depends on them. You see, America is not about turning our back on people that rely on her. We never have and we never will. And we're not going to do it to our own citizens, and I'm not going to let us do it to our own citizens. My grandmother relies on Social Security, and I don't want a dime of it. They did a survey for 30 and under and said, are you going to see a UFO or a Social Security paycheck? 2-to-1, a UFO. You see, freedom starts with the states taking back their rights and tackling these problems. Let me tell you something. The other side of this equation, they have a dream for America. And I'm sure y'all know all about it. These people, the statists, the progressives, the liberals, the communists, the socialists, the stoned hippies, the Democrats and Republicans, they all have a plan of government control. We have to come up with a plan. We have to come up with a vision, and we have to implement our plan and our vision. You see, we need to envision liberty. And the only way to get there is through nullification. The only way to start the path to liberty is to tell the federal government, stop it, right now, everything you're doing. And then, when we grab that power, we can begin to fix the true problems of this country. See, conservatives are not the party of no. We're the party of choice. You choose to carry a firearm. You can choose to go to your doctor. You can choose to work. You can choose not to work. What does the Bible say? He who will not work will not eat. I don't mean to get all Bible on you. I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't apologize for my religion, and then I'm a hypocrite. So for that, I apologize. So what's going to happen is we're the party of choice. Without choice, you have no freedom. Without freedom, you have no choice. We have to stop letting them call us the party of no. We're the party of Jefferson, of Washington, of Monroe. We're the party of freedom. Freedom! You see, if we let this opportunity go away, it'll be our children and our grandchildren standing in the Alamo, Tiananmen Square, you name the horrific event, and we're going to be sitting in an old folks' home, and they're going to be sending us text messages or whatever fancy gadget they're going to have by the time that comes around. And they're going to be writing victory or death letters. They're going to be telling us they have two choices, to fight for our liberty or to die. If we do nothing, that's where we're headed. You see, we have to fight now while all the guns are put away. While this is just words, ideas, and laws that can all be nullified. Our system is the greatest system on earth, and our system can win itself back. We just have to do it. We have to realize what powers are there, what we can do, and we have to fight and educate and keep fighting. I tuck my kids in bed every day, and I tell them that I'd be damned if they die in a socialist state. I kind of whisper it so they don't quite understand what I'm saying. But it's true. I think it every time I kiss my kids to sleep. That's why I'm here today. I tell them that I'm fighting for them, so they got to let me go. So we have to get the special session calls. We have to fight. We have to get on the phones. We have to go. We have to write letters. We can do this. Together, we can do this. By ourselves, we can do nothing. It's we the people, not John Stacy and the people. We have to do it. We just have to. Now, I'm going to leave you with a story of my greatest hero and inspiration, and oddly enough, it is not Thomas Jefferson, it is George Washington. After the war, which George Washington only won about 3 or 4 battles, he wasn't a great general until the French came, and then he started winning everything. But he was a respected general. And they got in Congress. At the end of that Congress, they wrote the Articles of Confederation. But in that Congress, they did something that very few people know. They extended the crown of America to George Washington. They extended him this crown. He took it in his hands, and he saw all the power, all the glory, all the money. And you know what he did? He put it back on the table. Think about that. That's the single greatest event in American history. As George Washington said, no, he will not be the king of America. We got to make the second greatest event in American history happen. We got to take our country back. Just plain and simple. Now, George Washington said this quote. He said, "No country on earth ever had a better opportunity to attain wealth and power than a united America. Wondrously strange then, and much to be regretted indeed it would be, if we neglect our means and get away from the road which was so plain for us to see. I cannot believe it would ever come to pass. Folks, we're living in America that is unfathomable to George Washington. Think about that for a second. Unfathomable. He said, I don't think it could ever come to pass. That's what he said. You see, we dishonor our founders every day that we don't fight for this. We dishonor them with the America we live in today. We either need to write a new Constitution or we need to actually abide by our Constitution. Which one are we going to do? So freedom must be our fight. It must be our fight right now when we can win it without bloodshed, lest we, as failures, hand over this battle to the next generation, slaves of our own government. Thank you very much and Merry Christmas.